So what is this certificate authority? If you are, if you have a background in IT, then you will be familiar with these terms. But if you are not, if you have no background in IT, then you will not be familiar with those terms. But don't worry, I will give you real life scenarios to facilitate and to explain you very well what means certificate authority. So let me give you a scenario, and you will understand. I will guarantee you that you will understand why this certificate authority is very important and it became very mandatory, and especially when you try to interact with the APE server in the Kubernetes cluster, because the connection between the client and the server must be secure and must be encrypted. So let us come here again to Figma, try to close this or come just here, and we assume that you in your country you have some money in your bank account, and this bank account have a domain name called mybank.com. So this is the server, right? And here you or client. So the client will send a request to the server to log in, right? And to enter his credentials and his credit card, etc. So it is very sensitive information that you don't want anyone to know about them, or you don't want to reveal that sensitive information for someone. So as you know that in real world there is many attackers, right? So this one will be attacker that will sniff the traffic between, so sniffing the traffic between the server and client. That's good. So when user provide first time interact with the web server, in the web server there are two things that's already generated by the owner of that server. It is the public key and a private key. So once you interact with your account or your bank server, then the bank and sorry and private key. So your bank server will send you a public key. This public key, imagine it like a lock, right? So this is the lock, or a box, right? A secure box. So, and here this is the credential username, for example. So first time you interact with your your bank server, it sends you a public key. Then in that public key, it is like a lock. This one, this box, it is the public key. It asks you to put the information inside it. So the attacker now is able to sniff the public key. Now he can have a copy of that public key, right? Then what you do, you just put the user name and your credential within this box that is the public key, right? So this public key what do is encrypt your credentials so they cannot be readable by human, or they cannot, even they are readable by human, they cannot inspect or they cannot know what are the information that are provided within this encrypted key. Now the user now is able to sniff the public key with the username, but they are encrypted, right? Then this box with the public key and the username, or this box will go to the server side, and the server side will use the private key as the key, this private key as the key, and it will open this box and will retrieve the information of that user. That's great. I hope you understood that. So this box that contains the information of the user, it is in this box, is locked, and the private key, the server use its own private key that is not show it to the attacker, and it will open this box and retrieve the information of the user. So the attacker, what's going to do, because it will find this is very hard for him to retrieve the credential. So what he is going to do is going to create his own website and give it a domain, the same name, mybank.com. And then the client, here we have the client, and now the client will interact with the bank. Then the client will think that this is his bank server or his bank website, because the attacker will create the same content, the same template as your account or your bank account or your bank server website provide. So you will think, or you will believe that this is your bank. And what you are going to do, you will interact, will send a request to this website. Then the attacker will give you a public key, the same procedure as here. It will send you a public key, right? And you will put your credential within this public key, but instead that public key will go to the real website. It will this time will go to the fake website that's created by the attacker. So now the attacker will use its own private key, right? And will open this box and retrieve the information that contain your credential of your credit card. So to avoid this problem, the certificate authority intervene to solve this problem. And what the certificate authority do is, let me open another tape here.